Hey folks, how's it going tonight? Take a seat on Kaiser's big orange couch. Pour yourself a libation. Pour yourself something else. A coffee, a tea. Just relax. Because I'm about to dive deep into some stuff. I want you to all understand what I believe is happening at this moment in time. And it is this moment in time. And that's what a lot of people do not understand. What I'm about to talk about is very real. First off, I'm going to bring up something that all of us 80s kids, we all had it going on. What I mean by that is we had the Cold War, which I was a part of, the Gulf War, which I was a part of, and the global war on terrorism. Pretty neat, isn't it? Well, the party just never stops. And this is what I'm about to talk about. What nobody wants to talk about right now is how they're talking about Trump signed the bill. It didn't give border wall funding. It gave funding for a fence, this, that, and the other. Well, a fence is more than what we had. It doesn't mean I'm happy about it. But what I'm trying to get to is it went from a wall to a fence. Okay? I can get autistic on this stuff, but at least it's a barrier. With that being said, people will be like, well, they, tunnel under a fence, they'll tunnel under a wall. That's going to happen. That's just the way this whole thing is. If 20% of our population stopped doing drugs, which I'm sure I just shut a lot of people down thinking I mean marijuana. No. It's stuff you snort in your nose or push in your veins. It's still coming from the same place. I know the northern border. Remember, I worked for CBP. And that's another part I'm going to get to. It does come from the northern border also. China white and all the other crap. We all know this. Anybody who's worked for the government absolutely knows this. But at least a fence is a barrier. It's something, if somebody defiles the fence, you'll see the fence has been defiled. What nobody wants to talk about in the U.S. government, which I can tell you is a fact, is that, they say MS-13 is an invention. No, it's not. It comes directly from what we used to call the Medellin cartel, which the Mexicans just basically took over, from the Indians. That's what they used to call them, Medellin, during the 80s. And that money is directly linked to drugs. Along with the coyotes who bring over and human traffic people, they also bring over the cartel members. Now, if you think I'm joking, if you think I'm making it up, a cursory glance will tell you I'm exactly correct. Facts are facts, folks. You cannot deny what a fact is. You can only deny an opinion. Now, with that being said, I have some serious thought processes I'm going to have to go down with you. This is from my legal classes, from all the police courses I've taken. And I'm just going to talk about the fence right now, but you'll see how it'll echo into how you live, where you live, okay? First thing I want to talk about is curtilage. Okay, curtilage can be explained very simply. In law, the curtilage of a house or dwelling is the land immediately surrounding it, Let me define that. That means the mown area, where you mow, including and closely associated buildings and structures, but excluding any associated open fields beyond, and also excluding any closely associated buildings, structures, or divisions that contain the separate intimate activities. What that means is, if you have something like, I don't know, some storage unit, something off your property, something at a friend's, well, that's excluded from your curtilage. You may have access to it, but they're going to have to get a different warrant. A warrant to seize or a warrant to arrest. And there's a very defining difference between the two. You have to know these things. Otherwise you fail. And that's a fact. With that being said, now we're getting into what I like to call the Fourth Amendment, because that's what it is. It's a part of your civil rights. You remember, the amendments to the Constitution are what form your civil rights. Now, everybody will talk about all these things, but they will never define things. I will. Right now. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, what we call PC in the LEO community, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons and things to be searched. Now, I'm going to break this down pretty simply. The warrant has to come from probable cause, not mere suspicion, but if you're at the border, mere suspicion can be adjudicated because all constitutional rights are suspended at the border, either leaving or coming in. Okay. By oath or affirmation, by a duly authorized law enforcement officer. Now, understand the FBI is considered a duly authorized. I have a hard time not laughing while I'm saying this, guys. They're able to just affirm an oath to, yeah, we know this is happening. Well, we all know that's a fucking joke now. Remember Peter Strzok? You know? He had plans and designs. So did McCabe. So did Comey. So, is the FBI legitimate as an LEO? I'm going somewhere with this, and you guys need to listen. Were they? Yeah. Yeah. According to the government and everything else. And really, that's all that matters, right? Yeah, we're pretty clear on that, right? But are they legitimate? This is where the problem comes, and nobody's looking at it right now. I am, because it actually puts a stain on all federal LEOs, which doesn't belong. And I include, I'm not like everybody else saying, the rank and file, they're not to blame. The fuck they're not. They knew what was going on. They got politicized, and nobody spoke up. And the ones that did, there were a few. The ones that did got fired. And that's from FBI, and that's also from ATF, because they spoke out. And DOJ, honestly, that needs to be disbanded. Attorney General Sessions, he needs to actually just say, we're disbanding this, we're going to have to reform it in a different manner. You have these trolls that are in there, and trust me, they'll come get me one day. And I'm fine with that because I'm going to expose this shit. When people talk smack, most of them don't know from which they speak. I've said this before. I have faith in only a few federal agencies at this moment. Out of all 97 agencies, 96, 97, depending on who you listen to. Most of them are DOD and also the IG, Inspector Generals, of every one of the agencies, because they have to tell the truth. Remember their motto. To do what's right. Okay? Right and just. That's something serious that people should take their oaths seriously. I did. You can say, I shit on my oath. No, I didn't. I held it. Sacrosanct. I know we live in a land of wolves. Right now we do. Nobody can dispute this. That's why I find the sheepdog theory faulty. Because in a land of wolves, and here's where I go back to the border, in this land of wolves that we live in, this makes me laugh, everybody says, well, a sheepdog protects a sheep, this, that, and the other. Well, maybe you feed your wolves steak instead of sheep or cow, you know. You feed them that. And you contain them. But they have a pack mentality. And what we've had with the open borders that have been promulgated by the last administration, to be sure, nobody can doubt that. Nobody. It was promulgated by them. Our southern border was open. And so was our northern border. So for that 20% of the people that are shoving shit in their veins and snorting shit up their nose, look, the only thing I snort, in all honesty, are the chemtrails flying over. I'll do a couple of lines of them every day and don't even know it. Makes me laugh. But, I know I just got a little crypto on you. But I will spurg about this. I'll let my tism kick in. Because I'm kind of a nerd that way. But what I'll tell you right now is at that border fence, that sort of gives us a little curtilage. Right? But yet in this bill, they've sequestered hiring more agents. We're talking internal guys, okay? We're talking immigration and customs, ICE guys. The guys that will arrest the felons. And trust me, anybody that bounced across the border is a felon. They violated it, but they keep it in the INA, the Immigration and Naturalization Act. So it's not really a felony to them. It's all legal bullshit. But yeah, they violated our law, and they could be 6 to 8 or 7 to 8 out of the country at any time. But see, they don't want to tell you, the people, this, because it'll enrage you. And then you look at these people, the angel moms is what they call them, that have lost sons and daughters to these felons that are already here. And yet they do another felony. Rape, kill, human traffic. It's all good, right? Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. We have foreigners come. I would say the same thing if they are German and Austrian. Or whatever. English. I would say the same thing. My heater's going to kick on, so when you spurg out on me that you're hearing background noise, that's what you're hearing. What I'm telling you right now is it's all muff fake. It's all to point your attention somewhere else. No, you need to actually look at it. The fence is better than nothing. How many miles of open ground do we have? I think it's like, what, 2,600 miles? Something like that on our southern border. Northern border will probably remain open because we have this high trust society between us and the north, which it should be shut down too. We should be building walls or at least fences instead of just these controlled access points. Well, if you're going to violate the law, you're not going across that controlled access point. So it's all bullshit. You know? If you expect people from a second or third world to come to our country, behave, and assimilate, you're stupid. In all honesty, you're absolutely stupid. But see, the intellectuals, the academics, the media, and that includes Fox, are absolutely morons. Because they will still propagate this falsehood upon you. So I'm a across the board hater. I hate people that lie to me and to you. I will tell the truth. I will also say that curtilage that I spoke of earlier, that's our property. That's our land, right? Trust me, if you were to go the other way into Mexico and violate their curtilage, which is the Rio Grande in some places, other places it's just desert. I mean, you know, it's all moxnicks. If you were to do that as an American, do you think they would accept that you're an American, a U.S. citizen, as an excuse? You're coming down there to work, take jobs from their people? Do you see that on their southern border in Mexico, unless they're being told by an administration like the last one, let them all come up, we'll take care of them, we'll even back you up and send you money. Notice the Democrats also made monies available to foreign governments again in this bill. That's what they don't want you to look at, that we're still funding these foreigners, these foreign countries. We're even giving money to Vietnam, an old adversary, for their military. Wow. That's fun, isn't it? The Chinese are still getting money. All this stuff, but what does Trump have to do? He has to deal, and he said it for real, he has to deal with, and I don't like it, and I'm sure he didn't either, but I understand it in one aspect. He has to deal with defense. He also has to deal with border security, and he got some funding from it. That's better than Bush did. Am I happy with his appointments right now with Bolton and several other people? No. But I also realize the realities of the situation. Yes, there's going to be a few wars coming up. They would not be hiring contractors if that was not the case. That's a reality. It makes me laugh that when I was young, everybody understood these realities. For some reason, in modernity that we live in now, everybody else says, "Oh no, it's a libertarian way." You know, we don't get that. We don't get it. Well, if you don't get it, you fail. Because as I said earlier, in a land of wolves, this is what will happen. Because you have to be a wolf and have your own pack to protect what you have. This is my 2 cents. It's worth exactly what you paid for, which is nothing. But it is on the real. And if you want to spurg out, correct me, whatever, I don't care. Like
ring that bell for notifications. If you enjoy my little vlogs, seeing I'm being picked up by different places, I'm enjoying that. So the message is getting out, because I believe people know I'm not bullshitting them. With that being said, y'all have a great day. And it's 6:38 in the morning right now. You guys just enjoy your day. Forget everything after you hear it, and just be real with your family and what's really important. All right? God bless. Shove out.